So I think that should paint a pretty good picture of the lengths that you go through with certain pieces of equipment. How's it going, everyone? Today I wanted to do something a little bit different because 3 weeks from now, Emily and I will be starting our Pacific Crest Trail adventure. This has been a huge goal for the both of us, and we cannot wait to get on trail. We've been doing a ton of research leading up to it, and a big part of that research is the gear we're bringing. Obviously, on this long of a trail, the gear is even more important just because you're going to be carrying it for over 2,650 miles. So you don't want to be taking anything too much or too little, and you really got to find your own sweet spot based on your own needs. So with that said, I wanted to show you what I landed on myself, and here it is. This is the pack and everything I will be bringing on the Pacific Crest Trail this year. Right now I'm sitting at a base weight of 13.25 pounds, definitely trying to bring it down a little bit, and we'll see if it goes up or down as I make some last minute changes before trail. But otherwise I'm really happy with where I'm at, and I think I have a really good balance between comfort and being lightweight. So I think we'll just start off with the biggest item, and that is the backpack. This is the Northern Ultralight Sundown. It is a 48 liter pack. It is 38 liters internal, and then the front stretch pocket and the side pocket bring it up to the total of 48. It's a super comfortable bag, and I think for what I usually carry on trail, it's the perfect amount of size and definitely has the expandability for those days where there's going to be longer water or longer food carries. Flipping it over to the backside, we have the shoulder straps. We are going to be going northbound, so we're starting in the desert. So on the left shoulder strap, I have a holder for an umbrella. That is a new piece of kit Emily and I are both going to be trying out. I'm really curious to see how it works, but I definitely think the ability to have shade anywhere you are in somewhere as hot as the desert is going to be super important, even though it may make the actual hiking experience a little bit more awkward, but I think it is something that we can both get used to. On the right shoulder strap, this is just a Northern Ultralight shoulder strap. It's a really good size. It has the same diameter as a smart water bottle, so I can easily slide in a water bottle if needed, but I think I'll just be storing things like my phone in there. On the bottom here, strapped to the bottom, I have a 1/8 inch pad. This is the Outdoor Vitals version. Emily got the Gossamer Gear version, which we actually found out is not only thinner, but a lot lighter than this one. So if you are looking for a super lightweight 1/8 inch pad, definitely go for the Gossamer Gear one. The reason we got these is we really like the idea of the closed cell foam pads on the Wonderland Trail, and just having something that you can kind of lie down on, lay out your gear, stretch in the mornings and at night is super valuable, and it weighs about the same as a normal sit pad, so why not get the versatility of something that you can fully lie on. Next we can do the side pockets. Right now I have some stuff in here, but they will be filled with smart water bottles as we get closer to trail. I will be filtering the water for those smart water bottles with a Sawyer squeeze. Nothing really to say here about this. I really like this water filter. Super easy to maintain, so I'm definitely just going to be sticking with that for the PCT. And then for the desert, for those longer water carries, I'm going to bring the Knock Vecto 2 liter just to give us an extra 2 liters of water. And the Sawyer squeeze can also go on the end. So if I wanted to filter water through this, I could also use that. It's a little bit easier to squeeze water through it compared to a smart water bottle. On the other side, I have the umbrella in there right now. I'll show you this. This is the 6 Moon Designs Carbon, I believe. It's the lighter version of what they have. And it will go on my shoulder strap just like this. Looks a little goofy, but I will not be worried about that when I'm in a shady area hiking through the desert. But otherwise, super simple umbrella, and I'm very excited to be using this on trail. Next is the front pocket. In here I have my Frog Togs Ultralight Rain Jacket. We're not expecting too much rain, but you definitely want to have a rain jacket on you, even to use as a shell on those cold mornings or cold evenings. Super cheap, super lightweight. If you're looking for something like that, definitely check out the Frog Togs Ultralight Jacket. And then in here, I also have my first aid. And in this pouch, I kind of emptied this and filled it up with things that fit my needs. And inside, I have things like Band-Aids, repair tape, ibuprofen, disinfectant wipes. I have an extra gasket for the Sawyer squeeze, just little things like that. One of the things I have in here is also this. It is a small Victorinox folding knife. And while it looks like the Victorinox Classic that a lot of people bring, it does have one extra tool. and that is this, which is the nail clippers. And I think that's just such a versatile tool to have on trail, because you want to make sure your toenails are maintained just so you're not ripping through socks or your shoes or making your blisters even worse. So with the pockets out of the way, we can get into the pack itself. So starting off at the top, I have my cook pot. This is the Toke's 600 milliliter pot. I wish I did have something a little bit larger, but this is what I have right now, so I'm going to start the trail with it, with the lid. And I do like the stuff sack just because it keeps it all very well contained. This is the MSR Pocket Rocket. Again, I would like something lighter, but I already had this and it works really well, so I'm sticking with it. And then a small Bic lighter as well. Well, I have the 600 mil. Emily does have the 900 mil, and you can see the diameter is quite a bit larger, but it is a lot shorter. So I actually think that this packs a little bit better in a bag. And because it is wider, it does have the ability to cook food a little bit better based on our testing at home. So if the 600 does become a huge issue, this is what I would be upgrading to. Next in the pack would be my food bag, which is currently completely empty. This is a DCF bag from Hilltop Packs. I've had this for a couple years now. It's been holding up really well. And then as of right now, the only thing inside is my titanium spoon, also from Toke's. Nothing really to say about that. Next would be my electronics ditty bag. Everything's in this pouch. This is definitely a big rabbit hole that I went down to make sure, not only can I make sure all my electronics are charged on trail, but also that my time spent in town is as efficient as possible and not spent just at a outlet. And the way I did that is starting all the way with the actual wall charger. So this is the Ugreen 45 watt charger with dual USB-C ports. And the reason why I went with a more powerful, a little bit heavier wall charger is so that I could charge my battery packs as fast as possible. So these are both 10,000 milliamp battery packs, and they are both 22.5 watt input. And what that allows me to do is charge them both simultaneously using the 45 watt charger in under 3 hours, again, minimizing my time spent charging my battery banks. And the reason I have two different battery banks is while this Anchor is a little bit lighter, it doesn't offer a trickle charge, and the Inu does. And what trickle charge means is when I'm charging the bank itself, I can still charge another device. And I think that added versatility helps charge multiple devices at once, again, playing into the idea of being super efficient in town. And then I just have the most minimal amount of cables I can have. Micro USB for my headlamp, a USB-A to C for the trickle charge aspect, and then I will have two of these USB-C to Cs to charge the banks themselves. And that's basically it for electronics, except for my camera, but that is something I'm going to leave for the end because that is something I'm still kind of deciding on at the moment. The next piece of gear, and probably my favorite one that we picked up for this trail, is our tent. And that is the Durston Gear X-Mid Pro 2 Plus. When we were shopping for a two-person tent, we were leaning towards something like the Duplex or the X-Mid Pro 2, but we knew they'd be a little bit narrow given the fact that we have two wide pads that we're going to be sleeping on. And then soon after they announced the 2 Plus, and we just realized that that's the perfect fit for us. And we went with the full DCF version, including the floor, just because we figured if we're going to be spending that much money on a tent, we want to make sure it's as lightweight as possible. And after that, we get into clothing. First, we can go with the socks. I am going to be hiking in Darn Tough lightweight socks. I've tried a couple versions of the Darn Toughs, and I found the lightweight to be not only the quickest drying, but also the best in terms of blister prevention. So I'm going with 2 pairs of these. And then I have my beanie, just a simple beanie that I've worn at home all the time. I'm going to be bringing that, not super lightweight, and I do think that it'll be good for some of those colder mornings. And inside the hat, I keep these, which may look like garbage bags, and they kind of feel like it, but what it really is are wind pants. These are the Enlightened Equipment Copperfield pants. We got them both in a fun purple color, and it'll go really well with my orange sun hoodie. These compress down to nothing. And while I usually bring joggers on past trails, I realized that I didn't wear them that often. So having something that is not only more lightweight, but even more compact is super appealing to me. So I'm going to be using those as well. My t-shirt, this is just something to sleep in or to wear around town when I have my sun hoodie in the laundry or something like that. Just a merino wool t-shirt. And then the boxers I'm wearing, they're just Lululemon boxers. That's all I really wear now, so I'm going to be wearing the exact same thing on trail. They're great. And then we get to my puppy, which is a Decathlon down jacket. Super cheap, affordable down jacket. It's fantastic. I've had it for a couple years now. It's held up really well. And honestly, I didn't really feel the need to replace it, and I'm sure it's going to last the entirety of the trail. If it doesn't, I can buy the same one for less of the cost than buying a more expensive down jacket. Then we have my fleece, which is the Kuiu Peloton 97. Super lightweight fleece, super thin, but still very warm. It's a great active layer. And it also has a hood, so if it is super cold when I'm sleeping, I can slip this on and put the hood on, which will keep me a little bit warmer because I do have a quilt instead of a sleeping bag. So that's an awesome piece of kit as well. Diving back in, now we're going to be getting into my sleep system, starting with my pillow. This is the Elan Stuff Sack pillow, which looks super thin, but after testing over 6 different sleeping pillows, this is the one I landed on. It's not only one of the lightest options out of the ones I tested, but it's also the most comfortable and the most similar to the sleeping experience I get at home. When you flip it inside out, you get this really nice fleece face fabric, and what you would do is stuff it with things like my fleece, my puffy jacket, my extra socks, whatever it may be, just to get the appropriate loft that you want, and then you get a wonderful pillow. And because it is fleece on both sides, it doesn't slide around too much on the pad, which is another pain point when picking out a pillow for the trail. In addition to the pillow, next will be my quilts. There it is. And for the quilt, I use the Nunatak Arc 20. I've had this quilt for a couple years now. It is super cozy. I'm so glad that it was in stock when I was shopping around for a quilt. I did get it overfilled, so it might not be as light as some other options that I could get, but I am a cold sleeper, so I wanted to make sure I had the warmest quilt available. And Nunatak does not joke around when it comes to that. I really like the cinch cords on the side as well. Again, just being a cold sleeper, if I really need to wrap the quilt around me, being able to tighten those lines on the side definitely helps keep those drafts away. So the pillow and the quilt will also be laying on my Thermarest X-Lite, which I keep folded up at the back of the pack. I've had this for a couple years now, and it's still been holding together really well. Emily did upgrade to the newer one, and it is much quieter, which I wish this was, because as you roll around, it does create quite some noise, but honestly, once you're on trail, you don't really notice it as much. And I think that is it. The only last thing I have is my pack liner, which is a Nyla Flume pack liner. Another super loud piece of kit, super lightweight compared to the garbage bags that I usually use. We'll see how it lasts in terms of durability, but so far I'm pretty happy with it. So that is everything out of the bag, but you might notice I do not have hip belt pockets on this pack, and the reason being is I actually used a fanny pack. I love the versatility of just having something on you all the time, whether you're in town, whether you're at camp and you want to leave your pack somewhere else. I just love the option of it, and it's just like the idea of it sitting right in the middle. And in terms of the fanny pack itself, this is the Hyperlight Mountain Gear Versa. It might not be the lightest one, but I love the capacity as well as the organization that it offers compared to the super ultralight versions. So I'm definitely going to be sticking with this and hope that it lasts the duration of the trail. In the front pocket, I keep things like my Apple earbuds. The reason I go with wired is just one less thing to charge or one less thing to go wrong. And then I also keep my wallet. This was actually a gift from Emily. It is the Chicken Tramper ultralight gear X-Pack wallet. Super thin, super lightweight. I actually ended up using this in my everyday life just because of how efficient it was. And having the zip pouch is just super convenient on a day-to-day basis. So that's it for the front pocket. It's probably also where I'll keep my passport. In the main compartment, I have things like my sunglasses that I brought on trail before, soap to use on trail, a whole giant roll of blue coat tape, which I'm sure will go pretty fast on the first couple weeks on trail. I have my headlamp, which is the Nightcore NU25, super standard headlamp there. A stick of sunscreen. And then there's also my toothbrush and toothpaste combo. I really like this toothbrush just because it folds in on itself and still lets you have a full-size toothbrush while still kind of keeping itself clean once it's all folded up. And then I have my massage ball. This thing is fantastic to have on trail just to be able to massage your shoulders, your feet, your calves, your thighs, whatever it may be. For the size and weight that it is, I definitely would recommend everyone to take one. It is so nice to have at the end of the day. And then the final thing I have in here is my Garmin InReach Mini 2. I just keep this in the fanny pack because I'm only really using this at the beginning or the end of the day to check in with family and friends, so I don't really need it readily accessible on my shoulder strap. So that's basically all the gear I'm going to be carrying on my back or on my fanny pack. And then there's everything I'm going to be wearing on trail. That includes this hat that I've had for years. You can see how discolored it is. That's how it should look, but it would feel wrong to replace this hat before the PCT. Just a super breathable, simple hat, and I love this, so it's definitely going to be coming with me. I have my other pair of Darn Toughs that I'm going to be hiking in, as well as my other pair of Lululemon boxers. And then there's also my Lululemon shorts. I have no clue what the name is, but these are just super simple. I know they still make these, and when these ones wear out, I would probably buy the exact same pair again. And the last piece of gear, which is actually an upgrade to my previous sun hoodie, is the Outdoor Research Echo hoodie. Super popular on trail, extremely breathable and lightweight. Like you can see the fabric is almost transparent, which is going to be fantastic. And I got it in a nice bright color just to contrast all the black that I'm going to be wearing. Very excited to try this out. The one thing I do see that I might be getting more annoyed of is the collar on it does tend to ride a little bit high, but hopefully that doesn't become too much of an issue on trail. The final piece of gear that I left out is actually what camera I'm going to be bringing. And that's because I haven't really decided on which one I want, but I have narrowed it down to two. And that is the Sony a7C Mark II with the 40mm prime lens, or this one here that I'm currently testing, which is the Ricoh GR3X. This is also a 40mm lens, but on an APS-C size point and shoot. Honestly, I think this is probably the smarter choice just because it is so much smaller, so much lighter, and still has very good image quality. But I think for something like the PCT, because it is such a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, I do think that having a full-frame sensor would be great. So we'll see as I play out the pros and cons on which camera I land on. But with that said, that is the entirety of what I'm going to be bringing on the Pacific Crest Trail. As I get closer to the start date, some minor tweaks might happen here and there, but I think it's a really good starting point, and I'm really curious to see how this kit will evolve over the course of those miles that we're going to be doing. If you guys have any questions about anything you saw in the video, please leave a comment below. Feel free to give any suggestions that you might have on things I should bring or things I can cut. I have included my lighter pack in the description below if you actually want to see the weight breakdown of each item. Additionally, if you do want to follow along on our journey on the Pacific Crest Trail, I have linked both my own and Emily's dedicated Pacific Crest Trail Instagram. We're going to be posting daily, and it's a great place to follow along. But otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this video and the insight it may have given you on what we're bringing to the Pacific Crest Trail this season, and I will see you on the next one.